Alright, so I'm going to go over how to create a gradient within shapes in Illustrator. The first thing I need to do is, of course, create a shape. So I'm up here in my toolbar to the left of the screen. I'm on my rectangle tool. Of course, if I hold that down, I can choose a different shape, but I think a rectangle is going to work well for this example, so I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to create my rectangle just by dragging across the screen. You'll notice that it's red. That is because red is the last fill color that I was using, so that's why it's showing up red. And now let's make our gradient. In order to make our gradient, we have to come back to the left where the tool panel is and click on the gradient tool. Once I've clicked on that, I am going to come back to the right of my screen in the Properties panel. I'm going to choose the type of gradient I want. There is linear, radial, which comes out from the center, and freeform gradient, which you can manipulate yourself. For right now, I'm just going to use the linear gradient. Click on that. And our default colors that we have here are black and white. To change those colors, all I have to do is start with clicking on the black on one side, and then I can change the color. If I come back to Properties, click on Fill, which is black, and I'm going to make that yellow. And now if I want to change the white, all I have to do is click on the white. That's selected. It has this little circle around it now. And I am going to change that white to purple. And so now I have this transition from yellow to purple. And if I move this slider here, that's kind of how I can make it either more purple or more yellow, however I want it really. I can bring in way more purple if I slide down the purple. This little thing right here is really good for creating smooth transitions. But my thing right now is that I want more colors than just yellow and purple. So if I want to add another color along this plot, if I scroll a little bit or put my cursor a little bit below the line, you'll see that there's now a plus sign next to it. Now that there's a plus sign, I'm going to click there, and I have this new part selected. To change that, so let's say I want to have green in the middle. I click on the fill and then I select the green, and now we have this interesting green right here. And of course I can also kind of change the way that this looks by adjusting this way. Another thing that you can do if you wanted to is you could scroll to either the right or the left side of your rectangle, and if you hover above this little square point, we have this kind of like rotate type symbol, and if I click and drag, that's how I can actually rotate my gradient as well. So if we wanted the gradient to be, let's say we want it to be going from top to bottom, I can do it that way. You can really position it however you want. Now let's see how the other type of gradient works, the radial gradient. If I click on that, you'll see that my gradient is now starting from the middle and working its way out. If I want to make that bigger, I can change the size. I can really take control of how I want my gradient to look. And now in order to get rid of certain points, like let's say I'm sick of this green, I want it gone, all I have to do is click on the green. It's selected now, and I just hit delete. So now we're back to something that's a little bit more simple. So that's how you guys are going to be using gradient. Feel free to play around with it until you get something that you like.